Steve Domenico in the Room podcast, and joining me fresh out of the cage at CES 65 is Nathan Ghareeb, man. Nate, bro, great fight. You came away with a little scratch in the foot. We're gonna cover that, man. But let's get to the fight first, man. A 3-round, fabulous technical bout there Sunday afternoon, man. Let's talk about it and just how you feel about the overall fight and how you did in there.
I felt great in there, man. I really did. I felt like everything came together, like all our training, all the things that we do every single day. Like leading up to the fight, everybody, obviously it was a quick change of opponent, but everyone was like, "Oh, it's going to be a great fight. This is a big fight for you." It's like at the end of the day, it's just a fucking fight. That's the way we look at it. It's what we do every single day, and we train for this. We're not training to fight bums. Like we never train to fight the lowest of the low. We're training to fight the best guys we possibly can. So when we got the change of opponent, it was like we weren't like really that concerned about it. We're like, we're ready for anybody. So it was I felt like it was a great fight. Obviously there's always things you can do better. I'm never like this was a perfect fight. I mean, but there's nothing perfect about any of the situation that went on with it, but overall I felt like I did really well. I executed the game plan really well. I stuck with it, and I just went after him, man. I was there to prove that, like, I'm just as good as anybody else around the area, and that, like, I'm highly qualified to take on some of the best guys, because he's certainly a great competitor, a great opponent, and it was exciting, man. Like, it was more exciting than anything. So I feel fantastic about getting a win like that over a guy like Tom Pags. Like, I have a lot of respect for him. He comes from a great camp. He's got great people around him. He trains with the best guys around. So for me to step in there and for him to step in there on short notice, and for us to just duke it out and show who's the man on any given day, and I came away with a victory. I truly believe that I earned that victory. I do believe that was my victory. I don't know if I was kind of concerned at first when they said split decision, because I was like, I don't know what fight you were watching, but in my personal opinion, I didn't think he did enough to beat me. So that's just the way I see it, but that maybe I'm just biased.
Well, Nate, how long did you have to prepare for this? Like, as far as us on the outside, we don't know exactly when the opponent fell through, but from the time you found out your opponent fell through, getting Tom, how much time did you have before you had to hit that cage?
I believe it was Thursday or Friday morning. I woke up, and I had like just woken up, and my manager called. He was like, "Hey, bud, your opponent pulled out." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What do you mean he pulled out?" He was like, "Well, he got hurt." I'm like, "What do you mean he got hurt? Like, how did he get hurt? Like, now he got hurt? There's 2 days till the fight. I think they said it was like 3 days, 2 or 3 days. So I was like, "Oh, whatever. Like, see if they could find me somebody else. Like, who cares? Whatever." And he didn't call me. He shot me a text of, Tom Pags.
Yep.
And I got the thing, but I was like, all right, like, this is the guy that they want to throw me in here with right
exactly.
now. You know what I mean? Like, I was supposed to fight a guy who was 5-2, but he was older. He wasn't as experienced, but this was the guy that they offered, and I was like, sure. Like, they offered me something. I'm like, all right, let's take it. Like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to get better. I want to, this was my third fight in a row for them. So I was like, fuck it, who cares? Like, I want to fight, so let's get this fight in and end the year on a good note. And so when he sent me the Tapology page, I was like, oh man, this is going to be a difficult fight. And then I sent it to my coach, and I was like, hey, look, like, I want to fight. This is a great fight. It's a bigger step up. But I was like, honestly, like, we're ready. We like I said, we train to fight the best guys in the world. We're not training to fight the lowest of the low. We want to fight better competition, and after getting to 4-1, we figured we were going to get a bigger step up anyway. And I don't think the guy I was supposed to fight was a slouch by any means. I mean, he's a coach at Syndicate. He's older, but he was bigger too at 155. So, like, it was good. It was good. It worked out, and like, obviously there's always risks involved, but I think it was a perfect matchup for me, honestly. And I did believe that I could beat him, because we'd already known who he was. Like, we scout everybody. We know who everybody is and what everybody brings to the table. So it's not like, it wasn't like, oh, who's this guy? Everybody knows who Tom Pags is and who he trains with.
It's New England also. You know what I mean? It's like you see him. He's actually fought for CES, actually. You know what I mean? So there's footage all over the place. And the thing about, Tom, I mean, you talk about, when you saw who they put there in front of you for, last minute. Tom was probably thinking the same thing, like, oh, wow, like the rewards for both of you guys here, the risks and the rewards were, the rewards, I think, outweighed the risks here. I mean, Tom, young guy losing against you, who's on, a winning streak, finishes all year. You got 4 fights in 2021, one being for Bellator, which you went with Cody, who's, that kid's grinding everyone out, man, and you went the distance with that guy. But then you have, these finishes in CES. So, I mean, you're busy. So the rewards here are outweighing being able to beat Tom, a New England guy coming out of the cartel, being undefeated, a young prospect, man. So that had to be on your mind, too, as far as,
absolutely,
the rewards. Now, the fight itself, you spoke about, the judges not thinking you were a split decision. You were leg kicking him like to death. I mean, it was almost like there was, the blood was coming out of his skin there. Was that the game plan, or did you just see the leg was there easy enough that you could just kind of keep laying on it?
Well, yeah, so basically we knew he was going to come out and try and outbox me. I didn't see it going any other way. He's putting dudes down with that right hand. His one-win condition from all the wins that we've seen, if he can hit you with the right hand, I mean, he's putting these dudes out with his right hand. He's not just like TKOing guys. He's like knocking them out. So his, the mind, you condition yourself to see certain patterns. So of course he's going to want to hit you with that right hand. Figure, take it away from him. Take it away with footwork. Take it away with positioning. Take it away with the angle, but also take it away with like our guards and our frames. And so it started. The calf is like a common thing. Like I throw leg kicks. People, it's not a surprise but it's the way I throw them. And I felt that. They're probably thinking, oh, he's probably just going to come out and try and calf kick me, But he's six feet tall, I'm 5'8", and he's got long, skinnier calves. So it's like it just makes sense to just touch it a little bit, just touch it as many times as we can, because eventually, like especially with boxers, he's heavy on his front foot, he's heavy on his feet, he's got a wider base. So just touch it as many times as we can, and that will present other opportunities later on. And if he picks up on it, then we just take a different route. I have a lot of different weapons that I can use. It's just if guys aren't going to defend it, then I'm just going to throw it. And then if you defend it, then I'm going to throw something else. You know what I mean? And like people think I'm married to the calf kick, it's like the only thing I can do. It's like, no, like that's just the beginning. Like that's the warm up. That's the tune up. I'm starting to see let me see what you present for me. And I'm going to see like how you react. And then I'll start picking you apart in other ways. So it's more of like a trap than anything. If you bite on it and you start defending, then we'll see how the fight progresses. So it's not like this is the move, this is the approach, this is the only thing we can do. It's like, no, this is just the beginning. This is the opening. This is the appetizer. Let's see how you feel with it. You know what I mean?
And another thing about the fight, Tom was on his back heels most of the fight. You were, walking him down and stuff. I would imagine, watching that would played a factor in the judge's eyes to me too, because there wasn't so much as far as combos thrown. There was a few shots here and there, but it was a more strategic kind of fight here, knowing that you guys are short notice, so feeling each other out, man. Those leg kicks that you were throwing, man, I definitely do believe they took the fight, because there was really no grappling in this fight. And Nate, watching you from the past, like in your amateurs, I don't know if you know, I saw you fight Matt Benya live at Reality, and from that fight on, even though I know Matt, and I think he was like a champion in other places, but I watched you. I never saw you fight before, and it's going back like 3 years, and I went, wow, that kid can grind, and that's what I've seen out of you in a lot of fights, other than finishing these people, but. When you do have that caliber fighter in front of you, man, you have that extra gear and that grind. If it hits the ground, was there ever an idea of hitting the ground, or were you just feeling great on your feet that you didn't feel like it needed?
Well, so that was like one thing that we had talked about, because it was like my opponent was more of like the original guy was more of a grappler. He was bigger. We knew his jiu-jitsu was like his bread and butter, so it was like more of trying to defend the takedowns than anything. And a lot of people, they see me as a striker, so it's like we don't need to throw our cards out to show everybody what I could do on the ground if we don't have to. You know what I mean? So there was for me, my personal approach was like tonight's the night to be a mixed martial artist. It's not just about going in there and outstriking somebody. Tonight was about being a mixed martial artist, a true mixed martial artist. So there was one time he threw a right hand, I slipped it and hit a single to like running the pipe, like kind of like a double leg kind of. I don't really know how to explain it, but I took him down, and I was like, I wasn't really surprised. I mean, he got right back up, but I wasn't really trying to hold him down. I was trying to like kind of weigh on him a little bit and see what I could do, just trying to sag my hips on him, trying to get back to some of those old wrestling roots. But it didn't feel like it was necessary because I think at one point he did hit me with the right hand, and I was like, oh, that's it. Like, that's the win condition, you know? Because, like, for the most part, I was shutting it down. Like, people were like, oh, I heard all these people talking like, oh, he doesn't know what to do. He's frustrated. It was like, there was no frustration. Like, I didn't rush anything. I was taking my time like I do with all my opponents. Like, there's no need to get in there and try to end it quick. Like, I'm there to fight, you know? It's not like I enjoy fighting, you know, I really do. Like, it's fun. Like, this is what I live for. This is what I do every single day. So it's not like I need to get in there and get out. I need to get in there and get out. It's like, no, like, take your time and see what, like I said, what opportunities present you. Like, feed them appetizers, see how they react. What's the next step, you know, from there? Obviously, we always have a form of a game plan, but it's okay to deviate from it if you find success in other areas. So the game plan wasn't necessarily to strike or grapple, but it was to mix it up and find the opportunities. And I think that also helped because throughout the fight, I would change the levels quite a bit to kind of, you know, he wasn't like I was standing on one plane. I was changing the levels as well, showing him high, showing him low, you know, with the footwork and the positioning and the angles. So, you know, that makes it like a complete fight. And that's kind of like how we looked at it. So.
Well, I was cage side watching it. My colleagues covered the fight. We tried to get an interview with you after, but of course, I'm sure you were rushed out of there, my friend. Dude, you know, I didn't even know this was happening. I mean, we can't hear the commentary or whatever. I don't know if they mentioned or anything, but at the end of the fight, you were standing there. I'm like, all right, great fight, blah, blah. And your foot was like split. Your toe was split and like looked like in two. And they just started talking about it. I heard, the announcer, whoa, look at that toe. Dude, when did that happen? And, like, when did it happen? And what did it feel like, if it felt like anything at all?
So in the later in the first round, I could feel, I couldn't feel pain, but I felt something under my foot in the, so my big toe to the right of my big toe on my right foot. I could feel I was stepping on something, and it felt like gummy, like something gooey, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, I think it's my toe. And I went back to the corner, and I was like, yo, is my toe broken? And my buddy, my striking coach looked down and goes, oh, dude, that's broken. I was like, all right, just don't tell me what it looks like. I don't care. Just, we'll figure it out. And at that point, they hadn't broken skin. I was just stepping on it. Yeah. If you go back and watch the first round, you can see there are instances where I'm moving my feet, and you can see the toe is missing. It looks like it's missing because it's stuck under my foot. And then he did a great job in the second round adjusting to the calf kick, where he was stepping back, shifting stances, and I was nicking my toes on his shin a little bit. And then I think towards the halfway through the second round, the blood started coming out. And then they were like, oh, yeah, dude, like, it's out. And I was like, okay, like, whatever, you just got to, because there was a point going into the third round where it was like, you have to make the decision. It's like, I really don't want to, like, rely on excuses. I think too many people, they go, oh, I could just be like, oh, my toe is broken. Like, that's how he got me. He beat me. It was like, no, fuck that. Like, I'm here, like, I'm here to fucking win this fight. There was no way I was going to pull some bullshit and be like, oh, yeah, I can't fight. Like, my toe's broken. I was like, don't say anything to anybody. Yeah. Don't even say anything to the inspector. Like, just let's fucking go out there and do this. So I think towards the end of the second round is when it split through. And I didn't realize the bone was sticking out until at the end of the fight when they called the fight, the bell rang or whatever. I looked down and I was like, yep, it's fucked.
Awesome.
And
someone get a shot of this.
Yeah, the bone was just like sticking out. It turns out like it was just dislocated, but the dislocation of the way that my toes are weird. Like I have this my like index toe, I guess, is like curved. It almost looks like a talon, and so the bone like the joint just popped through.
Yeah, we
and
all
so
seen
it. Was,
it. It was on Fight Pass, Nate. It's all over social media. It's on Instagram. It's being blocked everywhere, I have to say now, but it's still out there. Now, you going to see the surgeon? As far as what's your outlook on it? I mean, is it something that you think you might need surgery? What's your thoughts on it?
So yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell because I was in the hospital for like 8 hours, 8.5 hours. I was there, and they basically had given me they didn't even give me painkillers, so I didn't feel it. I couldn't feel anything. There was like no pain at all. I was like, oh, they're like, oh, there must be something wrong with your like nerves or whatever. But I was like, no, like I just can't feel it. And then when they said it, then I could feel it. Because they were fucking destroying it.
Dude, they twist that thing and
the guy. So they had 2 guys working on it. So this is probably the most fucked up one. They're like, they gave me some Valium. They're like, you need to relax. I was like, I really don't want to take any painkillers. Like, I don't want to get involved in that shit. Like, fuck it, I'll just do it. They're like, no, you need the Valium because you need to relax. I was like, all right, whatever. So gave me a little bit of Valium. Like they didn't give me like enough where I was like loopy. It like hit me immediately, and
enough to shut you up a little bit.
It wasn't even. Yeah. So basically, they wrapped this thing around my toe, tied it to his waist like some gauze, and then he's stepping back. The other guy's pulling my toe. They're trying to get it in, can't get it in, like to set back. The guy takes a pair of scissors, presses it to the bone. The guy steps back, pulls, and then he shoves it in, and. They're using this like X-ray machine kind of to like check it out.
Yeah, like a sonogram or something like that.
Yeah. It was weird. And then they were like, "Oh, it's not set yet." And I was like, "What? Like it's not set?" And then they go back. They're pushing it. Finally get it. Take X-ray. Send me back. And now I'm like in pain. I'm like, I can fucking feel it. I was like, I'm probably gonna need some Advil. They're like, "Oh, we want to give you morphine." I was like, I don't want morphine. Like, just give me some fucking Advil. Like, I don't need morphine or whatever. Then they come back. They're like, "It's not set properly. We have to do more." So they fucking take my foot that's already bandaged and they're fucking cranking her. Now I'm fucking screaming. Like I'm in the middle of the hospital, just like fuck. They're like fucking cranking it around and shit. And
dude, I broke my pinky knuckle. Yeah. And they had to do that same thing. Like they were like twisted. I'm like, and I came out with it worse than I did when I went in. It was like so.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's so weird. I don't know. And then they were like, yeah, we don't know. Like before that they did that. They're like, we might need to do surgery tonight. So like, don't eat. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I haven't eaten since 11 o'clock.
Jesus.
Like,
hey, Nate, what a victory night, huh? Well, spend it in the fucking hospital. Well, let's get back to that, man. Before I let you get going and rest up, man. It was a long weekend. I'm sure you're freaking on the phone with doctors and getting shit going. But dude, man, you've been killing it in the cage, dude. I mean, you went against probably your biggest name here. You beat him in the decision, a really entertaining fight. You got all finishes not all finishes, but you got 4 first round finishes, I do believe. You just fought Tom Pags, a big prospect, man. Cards are kind of dying down. You fought for Bellator. Man, what are you looking for? I mean, your foot's going to heal all in that, but man, you deserve something big when you come back. And what do you think? What do you think you deserve when you come back?
So that's the thing that originally, regardless of the injury, we were going to take time off. Like I wasn't planning on coming back till March. Like my goal at the beginning of the year was I told my manager I want 4 fights this year. No matter what, I want to get 4 fights. He's like, just take it one step at a time. Basically, like being at 5-1, it's like it puts me in a great position to get closer to my goals of being in the UFC. So I know the Contender Series is coming. It just ended and it's going to come back around in August. And I'd like to get a couple more fights in. There's talks of possibly fighting for a belt, which would be cool. I'd love to do that. But I gotta sit and talk with my team, and my manager, and kind of like talk about like what's going to be the best thing moving forward for me. I still think I'm going to take the time till March to kind of like I'm out for at least a month and a half now with this, because if they do surgery, like it's going to be maybe even longer, but it's time to just relax and take it all in and then work on skill development. But I mean, I'm not far away from where I want to be. I've put in the work. I've been doing this for almost 8 years now, plus my 15 years of wrestling. And it's, like I'd love to get to the Contender Series. I'd love to get to the UFC, and I'd really like to, like I said, like I don't want to just get to the UFC and hopefully, like, oh yeah, I was in the UFC. Like, no, I'm trying to get to the UFC and put a beating on those guys. Like, it's the same thing as I don't want to just be like, I did a great job here in New England. Like, no, I'm trying to go and fight the best in the world. So I'll talk with the team and see what they think, and we'll bounce ideas off of each other. But like, I'd like to get back in there at least one or two more times. If a belt comes up, like, fuck it, we'll take it. Like, why not? Like, I'd love to get paid more for this. I've been doing this for a while, and so we'll see. Let's see what CES has. I know Matt Bissett just retired, so the featherweight belt is open, and I don't see why I haven't proven myself to be capable of fighting for a belt or taking on some of these other guys that are around, or whoever else they want to. Whoever wants to step up, I guess. I know there are a lot of great competitors around the area. But at the end of the day, my goal isn't to be the best in New England. It's to be the best in the world. So, we'll talk about it and see what makes the most sense, and enjoy the holidays, eat some food, drink some beer, relax, spend time with my wife. Finally get to spend some time with her. We were supposed to go to Orlando this week and go to Universal Studios, but had to push that back. So, we're also talking about moving to Texas too. So my team, like all of us, were like, yeah, let's fucking move to Texas because it's cold here. So
it's not good for healing bones either, my friend. So
yeah,
hey, dude, the last thing before I let you give you shout outs and sponsor social media and all that stuff, but CES, you've had 3 fights for them, 3 wins just this year, 2 finishes. I do believe, unless it was like you fought last year for them too. I can't remember.
Yeah,
you need that kid into another world there in that fight. So, dude, I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't get another big fight with them, or like you said, to get something in the Contender Series down the line, because three wins for CES, and the way you're doing it, the last couple of times, and then beating Tom, man, you're big to do there, man. So all the power to you, brother. Pleasure talking to you and getting to know you a little bit, my friend. So shout out anything you want to let go, and I'll let you rest that foot of yours.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Well, thank you for having me on, man. Finally, get an opportunity to be here and talk with you. So thanks for reaching out and giving me the chance to talk with you and be on your podcast. I want to shout out my wife and my family, my parents, my brother. They've been supporting me through this entire thing. I want to shout out to my coach, my coaches, Dan McIntyre, Alex Warren. My wife's name's Alicia De Silva, by the way. I want to make sure I say that so she doesn't beat my ass later.
Smart man.
Yeah, so
man.
big shout out to her. All the important people, my old wrestling coach, Coach Brian, who patched the cut and everything. My guys at Kazushi Combat Club, my sponsors, Go With The Flow, Western Mass Hemp. Gina from Ochoa does my hair. That's why it looks so nice all the time. Thank you to my manager, Mike Kim at Wolf Sports Management for helping me out and always working hard, always being on call. And also thanks to Tom Pags for taking this fight and giving me the opportunity to step in there and for us to both show our skills, man. I really appreciate him doing that. I really appreciate I have a lot of people to thank, but I'm really grateful for all the people in my life and for all the shit that they do for me. It's amazing. So thank you, and thank all of them and everybody else that's been a part of this journey, man.
Excellent, my man. Well, congratulations on all the success. Heal up, my friend, and we'll talk about what's next when you're able to, and got some news for us, my friend. So enjoy the win, bro.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Have a great night.
All right, my man.